there was like it was like going through rehab, bro. I was having cold sweats and stuff. I was like, it's not worth it. What is up, guys? It is Nick here from Midwest Gaming Republic, and I have a new video for you guys today in my But Honest series. And we're going to be talking controller and console, and has my swap from that to PC and mouse and keyboard made me a better gamer? Now, for those of you that are not familiar with the But Honest series, But Honest is a weekly video series that I do here on the Midwest Gaming Republic channel where we discuss and take a look at a variety of different gaming topics. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is Nick, and I have been competitively gaming since about 2007. And I am just looking to share my knowledge and opinion with you guys. So, for that being said, let's get right into the video this week. Now, we've discussed a topic that is kind of similar to this already here in the But Honest series, where I took a look and discussed the differences between if you should go console or PC here in 2021. But we're not looking to cover just that, and I'll put a link to that here or there or down in the description. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about my experience with that, and has the swap from being a long time, full time console and controller player to now a full-time mouse and keyboard PC player, and has that made me a better gamer, and should you do the same thing? Now, I think the biggest thing that you guys are thinking of, I watch some of the top end players and they do incredible things. And I always say, if I wasn't a PC player, would I be able to hit these shots? And my answer is, of course you could. Of course you can hit the shots on controller. It doesn't mean you have to have a mouse and keyboard. And my straightforward and honest answer with you guys between has using the mouse and keyboard versus using the controller made me a better player. And I believe that the answer is yes, it has made me a better player. Now, what I want to discuss, though, and pivot from there, is that I do not believe that it is solely the mouse and keyboard that has accelerated me to be able to now perform maneuvers and actions far better than that of a controller. But I think really where the answer actually ends up lying at the end of the day is that the performance and the just raw specs of my PC are just so much greater than that of your standard console that it just becomes a little bit more challenging to really say, like, are you a better player using one versus the other, when one just ultimately just more superior in terms of performance. But I wanted to discuss and mention that it's not just about mouse and keyboard or controller and only using one or the other. I think that there is a legitimate conversation for certain games that the experience of using one versus the other is more superior. And I think that the conversation of having a comfort level with the one versus the other is definitely a conversation to have as well. And I do recall several times in my transitional period between saying, when I play first person shooters, I am no longer going to be using a controller. It was like going through rehab, bro. I was having cold sweats and stuff. I was like, it's not worth it. I'm going to just go back. I love you, console. Take me back. I love you. I'm sorry, type of deal. But I persevered, and the comfort and what I've ultimately learned, though, for it's primarily in the first person shooter, third person shooter category, the shooting game category, that there is a significant difference in terms of your precision. Now, just like anything though in life, like obviously the more you do something, the more acclimated you get to it. Just the more like some sort of sub hardwiring happens in your brain where you just know without having to really look. And that happens for almost everything in life. I remember starting, I was hitting wrong buttons. I was overcorrecting, undercorrecting on everything. And I think the point of with a console, the floor for someone who is entering in is always going to be significantly higher than that of a mouse and keyboard player. But the ceiling for a controller player is always going to be significantly lower than the ceiling of that of a mouse and keyboard player. So it's much easier to come in as a entry level controller player and perform well versus coming in as a entry level mouse and keyboard player. But when we're talking about the best of the best and the most subtle of differences, ultimately, when we're talking primarily, like I said, about shooting games, you're going to get eventually outplayed by the mouse and keyboard, just predicated solely on the capabilities of what you can do with the mouse and keyboard. But what I want to say as well is if you're a controller player, do not have shame in your aim assist. I think that aim assist is a fantastic tool and should continue to be utilized. I think that it not only makes aiming a lot easier, but it also makes your ability to just hit your shots a lot more tangible and realistic. But be patient, especially if you're going to be making the transition. You're going to be hitting those same cold sweats and the same feelings that I had at one point. But stay with it. Keep your sensitivity low. Build up to it. That's what I always recommend to people. You got to build up to it. It takes time and energy and practice and learning and knowledge. And with that, eventually, if you do make that change, you will be an elite super MLG player before you even know it. So ultimately, yes, swapping from controller to mouse and keyboard has made me a better gamer overall. So that is all for this episode of But Honest. Once again, my name is Nick with Midwest Gaming Republic, and we stream daily, all under Midwest Gaming Republic. All of the socials will be down in the description, so make sure to check those out. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Let me know in the comments, what do you play, and do you plan on swapping from controller to mouse and keyboard, or are you already an uber elite awesome dude? And as well, make sure to hit that like, consider subscribing, and we will be back with another episode soon. Good night.